helps children who have autism, but also the siblings of those children. Huddle. A huddle is an action of a team gathering together to be strategic, motivate, or celebrate. Commonly, the leader of the huddle is the team captain, and it is the captain who will try to inspire his fellow team members to achieve success. A little over a year ago, Joseph Buckle and I joined together to create something in which we like to call the Teen Huddle. It all started when I had the idea of starting a respite program for families who have children diagnosed with autism, and Joseph having the idea to create a mentorship program for the siblings of the children with autism. With a lot of help and guidance from the founder of Hope for 3, Darla Farmer, and our parents, we created a program like none other in Fort Bend County. A program whose mission is to increase autism awareness and acceptance among teens. The Teen Huddle consists of 25 teens from 6 area high schools, all looking for a way to give back to the community. Each applicant has gone through an extensive application process to be able to be in this Teen Huddle, and I'm so proud of how far we've come. The Teen Huddle consists of 2 groups, one called Parents Time Out and Sibling Support Group, which both alternate every month. The Parents Time Out is a time where families can drop off their children and we do various activities with them. For example, Cookie Joe's, a local dance company, came to have a dance class with us, and Santa came to deliver some sweets during the month of December. The Sibling Support Group is where the siblings of the child with autism gets paired up with a Teen Huddle member and we all go do something together. We went bowling one time, went to a movie, and did little things like create friendship bracelets and decorate picture frames. Each time a sibling comes, we want them to feel special and loved because they don't get that all the time when living with a brother or sister on the spectrum. Now the person who I'm about to introduce is an amazing teen volunteer named Joseph Buckle. Joseph has had first-hand-on experience what it is like to have a sibling with autism. His story is inspiring, and I'm so honored to have him by my side in the Teen Huddle. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Buckle.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Is my PowerPoint up? Yes, so my name is Joseph Buckle. It's an honor to be here speaking to you today, especially in support of the SPICE program here at St. Lawrence. It's something that I've watched the last couple of years from the point of view of someone with first-hand experience with an autistic sibling, someone who's disabled in my family, and being able to see the community respond in a way that is beneficial and supportive towards students who may not be able to thrive in a traditional classroom setting. That's incredibly powerful to watch that and see it start here. So I'd like to thank Mrs. Haney and all the staff here at St. Lawrence for all that they've done in getting this program off the ground. So round of applause, please. So my presentation, it's called Spice in My Life. And before I begin, I mentioned I have a sibling on the autism spectrum. To illustrate the fact that when you look at a lot of these students, they don't look any different than us. They might as well, in many other areas of life, be just like you and me, but they have a learning disability. So I'll take a couple great volunteers in just a second. Where did I point this?
Turn it on.
I did not. You warned me about that. Yeah. There we go. Thank you.
Tell me to go forward.
All right. So there's a picture of my family, and if I could get a couple volunteers to try to discern which kid, there's me on the right, and my 3 sisters, and in the back there, Brian. Try to discern which one has a disability, which one is on the autism spectrum. And if you know me and my family very well, you're disqualified. Sorry. If I raise a hand, anyone would like to make a guess? Don't be shy. Back in the back. Blue dress. So the blue and brown, bottom right? Pink. Pink? Pink dress. Okay, on the left? All right. Anyone else? Care to make a guess? Yes. I'm sorry. The little girl in the blue and brown? Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
I like the girl with the white dress and with the press on. The white?
You think her?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have all three of the girls. Now I'll let you know that autism is more prevalent in boys, actually. But I think that's good. So, in fact, in this picture, my sister Anne-Marie, on the left in the pink, is on the autism spectrum. She has autism. That just goes to show you that you can't tell with any kind of certainty just by looking at someone or seeing them whether they have autism. And I think the bigger thing to grasp from that is that you can't define a kid, a person, a student by their disability. That does not define them. I think we always have to remember they're people. They could just be you and me in any other area of life. My sister, she's very talented in music. She's more talented than I am. She has a great voice. That's something she does even better than I do, not even just equal. So she's definitely not defined or even necessarily limited by her disability. And although without this kind of support that SPICE offers to students, we might never know that. So just something to think about. Next slide. So let me introduce you to my sister, Anne-Marie. There she is. That was a picture we submitted to be used in a calendar, actually. She was Miss January with that picture. And I love it because she's wearing a shirt that says, hope. Because that's what she represents to me and my family. She is, she's a beacon of hope for the future. Watching her from her diagnosis at age 3 grow into the young woman that she is today. So if you could go to the next slide, I'll tell you a little about her. So there's a picture of her and Aaron with my grandpa. That's taken in Steamboat, Colorado. We go up there during the summers sometimes. And she absolutely loves to go outdoors, go bike riding. They have an excellent program up there for kids with special needs or disabilities. And she's been able to, it's almost like therapy, like physical therapy. She can go and ski with her one-on-one. So it works on her social skills as well. So that has been a huge benefit to her, and you can see her having fun there. And there's me getting, assaulted. Just at a restaurant, just having fun at dinner. So, it puts the personality with the person of Anne-Marie. She's not her disability. Once again, I think that's something we need to understand. Next. There she is. She's a basketball player. She played from when she was little. She played upward. There's her with my grandparents, and she absolutely loved it. And now she gets to participate at a higher level through a program called Buddy Ball, which is an excellent example of people in the community who take time out of their days and schedules to support and provide help for kids who wouldn't otherwise be able to play basketball. So they work with special needs kids. She has a one-on-one mentor when she plays basketball, and her basketball skills have improved dramatically, and she's able to cope with a lot of the things she feels being on the autism spectrum. A lot of what they feel is generally locked away inside of their brain. Their brains work differently than ours, but by physical activity and playing basketball, she can relax and kind of get some of that out by playing basketball. That has been a huge benefit for her. Next. There she is with her twin, Grace, just having fun. They're in the kitchen there. She's just like any other twin. I wouldn't know personally, but if I had a twin, I think I'd give him a hard time messing with him every now and then. Like up there, just more noisemaker. Something you might not think about when you see her struggling with the things she does struggle with during the day. But she goes home and she can just have fun, like any of the rest of us. And there they are, spa night in Colorado. I was out of the house fishing, thankfully. So there they are. Go ahead. Here's another one of her with Grace jumping in the water. I just thought that was a great picture. And there she is surfing. Now that was a special program a group that came down and they teach kids with disabilities how to surf. Just like the basketball, the physical activity is incredibly beneficial to her, and it helps her to get out some of the things that might bother her, in a productive way, as opposed to throwing a fit or what they call stemming. So she's able to go out and she learned how to surf. She got up on the board. You can see the smile on her face. She's having a great time. So another example of an organization like Spice that opens the door of opportunity to these kids to make themselves better and be productive. All right. So here, this exemplifies her love of the theater and of drama, and dance especially. So she went to see the Rockettes with my mom, and she was excited about that, for a month, maybe 2 months in advance. She's telling me the date, the time, exactly who she's going with. I can't wait to go to the Rockettes with mom and my friend. And there she is taking a picture on the night of, happy as can be. And in the bottom right, she is Lumiere, the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure you're all familiar. She in a school production, she was able to play the part of. Okay, I thought I lost it. Play the part of Lumiere because there were volunteers there who were willing to work with her and take that extra effort to help her make herself better, develop her vocal skills, her stage presence. That's something that I'm grateful for, just being a sibling, because it's hard to expect that from people, but when you see it, it deserves to be commended. So let's take it to the next one. Here she is. Now this is an interesting thing, because with her autism, it's difficult. In many autistic people, it's difficult for them to grasp abstract things like the Catholic faith, to have that faith in God and to understand why we go to church. For a long time when she was young, she didn't know why we went to church. She couldn't grasp it intellectually. There she is at her first communion with my great uncle, Father Louis Sikorsky, on the left, and Father John Ernie, who was the pastor of our parish. So that the time she received First Communion, I remember she was going through and learning about the faith, and she got more than I thought she would. I was very impressed by the things that she could take on faith. Some things that even I struggle with, but she wasn't all the way there. And I think largely because of her interest in music, she began to go and sing in the choir at 12:30 Mass on Sundays. And because of that, over the last 3 years, this past summer, up there at the top, she was a leader at Vacation Bible School. She led the groups. She actually was one of the volunteers at Vacation Bible School. And that's that not only shows her ability to lead, but her grasp of the faith now. It's powerful to listen to her, and she'll talk to me, and especially with our grandparents who have passed. That's something that it's hard for her to understand. But she'll come up to me, she'll say, "Hey, Joseph, I'm sad, but I know Grandpa's watching me. I know he's up there in heaven." And she means it. It's from the heart. So to have her get that Catholic faith, even outside of a Catholic education, she was not able to come to St. Lawrence here. Unfortunately, the resources were not in place. But it's hard for me to wrap my head around that and how she's grown in her faith without the education and privilege that I've had, going to Catholic school here and now at St. Thomas. So if we'll go to the next slide. Here is the part where, as a sibling, I do a lot for her, but I felt that I could do more. So 2 summers ago, I decided I was going to do something more than just be a big brother to Anne-Marie and to my other sisters. I decided I was going to try to help the community with what I have learned over the last 13 years with Anne-Marie. And I got together with Kirsten after contacting Darla Farmer, then the president of Hope for Three. She's the founder as well. and she's here today right there. So Ms. Darla, I contacted her and I said, look, I have this idea. I know what it's like to have a sibling on the spectrum with a disability, and I want to help other students, or other kids, especially younger siblings, who may not know how to cope with that, may not have the experience that I've had over the years. And I wanted to help them with the sibling support program. So when I got together with Kirsten, we created the Teen Huddle, and what we do, you can go to the next slide. Well, there's the Teen Huddle. That was after a parent timeout. So all our volunteers and all our participants and families are there. You can go to the next one. So what we do is we have a sibling support program. Kirsten did talk about this, but this really is something that helps a lot of the siblings. And I've even talked with Ms. Connor here at St. Lawrence about doing something similar for the siblings of kids on the spectrum with other disabilities. Because a lot of times, especially when you're a younger sibling, like my sister Erin over there, who's here today to watch me, it's difficult to understand when you're younger. You look up, you think about it, you look up to your older siblings as a model, as a mentor, someone you want to follow in their footsteps, right? But I can't imagine looking up to my older sibling. I'm looking up to her as a model, and she has these behaviors that are not typical. There are things that typically we wouldn't want her to emulate. So this mentorship program and the sibling support allows older siblings like myself or other people who have exposure to autism to get pair up with these younger siblings and offer them support, help them cope with things they're going through, and give them advice just on how to better handle some situations that might happen, or what to think of their older sibling. And one of the other powerful things it does is it gives them the sense that they're not alone. They're not the only ones who have a sibling who they can't take out to eat. They can't go out to restaurants because their sibling would get upset and run away from the table and go out in the parking lot. And that does happen. That happens often. My family can't go out to eat as much as we'd like, especially. So if we go to the next one. Here's just a couple pictures to show you the mentorship that we have, one-on-one, buddy up. There's Kirsten with, oh gosh, I'm going to forget her name. She's a sibling. She has an older sister on the spectrum. And she's a regular. She comes to most of our events. And then a straight Jesuit student, unfortunately. I had to get him in there. He's one of the good ones. His name's Blaze, and he's there working with Jada on a poster. And that poster is for, I believe, for the car wash that we do to help generate funds for these families. So there's just to give you a picture, a visual of the mentorship system at work. So, next slide. And as I just touched on, the car wash there, it's something we do in the community to help raise funds and awareness. And the bottom picture is my sister Grace. She's top row, far right, and that's her softball team. And what they did was they all bought these puzzle piece socks. Puzzle pieces are a symbol for autism. And in order to raise awareness, they all wore their puzzle piece socks during their softball games. So, yes, well, that is the St. Lawrence team. So some publicity for St. Lawrence. And that was awesome to watch them. Just other kids, teens out there supporting the rest of the community by wearing those socks. So, slide. All right. So here's where I bring my story together with the SPICE program here at St. Lawrence. And the title here says, Open the Door. I don't know if any of you know who Temple Grandin is, Dr. Temple Grandin, or have seen her movie documentary, but she came and spoke here in Sugar Land a couple weeks ago. That's her with us, with our family. She's next to me. But she is a doctor of science, and she has autism. So that's something that she's overcome in her life. And in her documentary, one of the things she says, she was actually supposed to be institutionalized at age 4. She could not speak, no speech. But she overcame that, and she went to school, and she went to a boarding school. And then when it came time for her to, she was too old for the boarding school, one of her professors said, "You should go to college. You're incredibly bright. You have a great mind." And she didn't want to do it. But the thing that got her through was this metaphor. And she said she always thought of these opportunities as opening a door. You know, you open the door, and then I'll walk through it. But she couldn't do it on her own. You see, she had to have someone hold the door for her. Someone had to be there to support her so that she could go through that door. So, go to the next slide. Here's Anne-Marie. As I said from early on, she had a passion for music. There she is on the left, young Anne-Marie, just finding out that she loves to sing. Sing her favorite songs just in the living room. And there she is this year at 12:30 Mass in the choir. She saw the door. She saw her passion. And because of the work of my parents, talking with the parish, and the other people at the parish in the music ministry, they held the door open for her. They allowed her to make herself better and become one of the best singers in the choir at Mass. They saw that opportunity and they helped her through it. Go to the next one. She's a dancer. She loves to dance in her cowboy hat and plaid shirt. But she goes to the Wortham Center downtown, and she dances at the Wortham in shows. She's done it for the last 3 years. She was the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz last year. She got to be the Scarecrow. She's on that big stage in front of hundreds of people. You know, that's a gift. That's something that she would never have been able to dream of doing without the kind of support that was offered to her. You know, she saw the door, saw the opportunity, and because of the work of Cookie Joe's, she was able to dance right on through. So, here she is. I go to St. Thomas. So she wanted to come out and support me at all the games. She goes to all my football games. She's in the stands, but she really wanted to get down there on the field and cheer. You know, she's practicing cheers at home because she can see what the cheerleaders are doing. But she never got the chance to go out there because of her disability. She's never got the chance to be a cheerleader. Never got the chance to be a cheerleader. So we talked to the athletic director at St. Thomas, and he agreed. He would talk to the cheer coach, and the cheer coach agreed that they would let Anne-Marie come down for a game and cheer with all the cheerleaders. So they taught her the cheers. She still knows all of them. It's like immediately you ask her. She can do all the moves, everything. So I was out there playing football, you know, on the field, and she's right there with me on the sidelines, cheering. Got to be right there, waving at me when I come off the field. Just because these people, the cheer team and the athletic director had the heart to say, you know, it might be a little more difficult, but we want to offer you that opportunity. We're not going to deny you that. We're going to hold that door open, and if you want to, you can come on in and walk through and take it and run with it. Be a cheerleader. Do whatever you want to do. So, there she is with the cheer team at the end of the game. You know, you can see she's enjoying herself. It was Thank you. Okay, so, well, before I talk about how she's a volunteer, back to how she's a normal teenager. You know, you see her at the bottom right with her Starbucks holding the trophy. You know, just like any other teenager I know. Everyone loves Starbucks. So, but this is a picture in the top left. I'll see all of you. But she's with YIP, Youth in Philanthropy, and she actually won an award for her volunteering, for the work that she did. You know, she's going out on Saturdays. She's doing yard work, doing landscaping, painting a mural, that kind of thing. So she's not only a recipient of the volunteer work in the community, she's actually a volunteer herself. And there's her with the award. She was extremely, extremely excited when she got that award. She did not stop talking about it. You know, she comes home and look at this award I got. She has it up on her desk, looks at it. It's an excellent example of the things that she can do, given the support of the community, of people who look at her and say, you know what, you're not autism, you're Anne-Marie, and we're going to help you however we can to do everything that you have the potential to do. Yeah, okay. And as a student, so Anne-Marie she's been to lots and lots of different schools. My parents have worked tirelessly to try to find the right fit for her. Because once she was diagnosed, we knew probably she would not be able to be in a regular classroom in a typical setting and learn that way. So we tried public school, who should, technically they're supposed to be able to handle that and have the resources. But we found that it wasn't right for her. It wasn't her fit. So after public school, I believe we tried Westview School. That was the next step. I lose track. There's so many different schools. We've been back and forth, gone all different places. But the Westview School was somewhere where she got the help she needed, but she eventually outgrew that. Where she could go to a higher level. But she needed to move to somewhere else. It wasn't the right fit anymore for her. And this whole time, to give you an idea, my parents are driving her. Westview's on the Beltway. St. Thomas is almost downtown, and St. Lawrence is out here. Get the picture? We're going everywhere. I didn't drive yet, so I was taking the metro to school, which was wonderful. So, it was a great experience, actually. We talked to a lot of interesting people when you're on the metro. So she goes to Westview, and then once she outgrows Westview, we start thinking, well, we do want a Catholic education for her. I say we. My parents start thinking we want a Catholic education for her. And we looked at St. Lawrence. That's where I was. That's where Grace was, her twin. That's where Erin was. Yeah, she would have been there by then. So she's down here probably. But so we look at St. Lawrence. And unfortunately, at that point in time, the resources were not in place. We didn't have the SPICE program to be able to say, yes, St. Lawrence can provide help where Anne-Marie needs it to help her thrive in an academic setting. So we tried, and my parents worked for it, but it just wasn't the time yet. It wasn't meant to be. So she now goes to the Monarch School, which is it's a school off the Beltway by Houston Christian, if you know where that is. And it's a great school for her. She loves it. She has lots of friends, and she takes great classes from teachers who really understand how to work with her. So everything fell into place where it was, but she missed out on the Catholic education, something that I've had from day one all the way up. And one of the hardest things, was she would ride to school with us. I said, we only had 2 cars back then to take to school. So when she was going off to Westview and I was still here, I hadn't gone to St. Thomas yet, it would be me and Grace and Anne-Marie in the car, and we'd drive into the carpool and open the doors to get out to go to class. And Anne-Marie's in there, and all she wanted to do, I can tell you, I still see her face, look in her eyes and smile. And all she wanted to do was get out of that car, go through that door, and come into school with us every day. And we had to close it on her and say, see you tonight. That's why I'm so happy to see the SPICE program here today. All of you, you're so blessed. It's difficult to say, but you don't know the amount of work that has gone into this over the last few years. I just hope that all of you know how thankful I am to be in a community where the SPICE program can truly come into being and thrive and help these kids and hold that door open for them so that they can go dancing through on the life that they were meant to lead. Thank you.
Joseph, for sharing your story and sharing Anne-Marie with us. And it was very hard to be the person who couldn't open the door. So, gosh, that's hard. So it does make you appreciate the fact that the door is open now. So thank you to you for being with us today and for sharing your story, and for your family for their support of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish at St. Lawrence. We just have a little something for you and for Kirsten for being with us today. Being here today. It is a celebration for us to be able to have a program like SPICE in a Catholic school setting. And so today is a day when we get to celebrate. We get to celebrate the beauty of being able to say yes to families when we can. And we can't always say yes, unfortunately. But we can say yes now more than we used to be able to say yes. And that's the beauty of SPICE. So there are a lot of special people that are making today possible. And I just want to take a minute and thank those people for making today happen. First and foremost, you're sitting in a room full of beauty and an environment that is full of love. And so I want to thank the volunteers who made today's luncheon possible. First, I want to thank the PTO. Who is serving you today, all these wonderful ladies. I want to thank Ms. Cabello, Ms. Byrne, and Ms. Prisabella for all of their work with the caterers and making lunch happen today. I want to thank Mr. McClary for all of his technical support, and Ms. Connor, who directs our SPICE program, for kind of orchestrating everything today, and what a great job they've done, so I want to thank them. But there are a couple of ladies, and I want to thank Ms. Kara Turner, who was the president of our SPICE Advisory Board and worked with the children to create that beautiful piece of artwork. So if I could ask Kara to come up for just a minute, we have a little thank you.